Breathe better and sleep deeper with the Levoit Classic 160 Top Fill Humidifier. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description to get your Levoit Top Fill Humidifier on Amazon today and enjoy a healthier, more comfortable home. Welcome to VoiceWave News. I'm your host today, Ed Ackerman, and we're talking about a love letter to newspapers, specifically Sunday papers. You see, our guest this morning, an avid newspaper enthusiast, is sharing his passion for the Sunday papers and what makes them so special. Starting with the Citizen's Voice, faithfully delivered right to his front porch in the middle of the night at 5 a.m. He can't resist starting his day with a cup of coffee and catching up on the latest news from around the area. His love affair with newspapers began when he was just a child, accompanying his Aunt Dorothy to Bohr and Casey's drugstore after Mass at St. John the Evangelist. Aunt Dorothy would pick out a paper from each, and our guest would be fascinated by the stacks of newspapers stacked on the floor. He'd always choose one of each: the Journal-American, Daily News, Sunday Independent, and more. This ritual sparked his interest in reading newspapers, even at just 8 years old. Nowadays, our guest still craves that same fix from the Citizen's Voice, but it's not as strong as it used to be. He can get through only 1 cup of coffee now, compared to 2 back then. Although the Voice isn't what it once was, he still needs his paper. He checks out the competition with the Times leader on his phone, because even a newspaper guy has to stay up to date. Sometimes he discovers late obituaries or local sports results that miss the Voice's deadline. But our guest knows where to get his next fix: the Turkey Hill convenience store. For $18, he can grab a Sunday Dispatch, New York Post, and New York Times. It might seem steep, but for someone with a newspaper habit as strong as ours guests, it's worth it. Back home, he starts with the Sunday Scranton Times, specifically Chris Kelly's column, which always leaves him in awe of the author's writing skills. And then there's the Gray Lady, the New York Times. His wife expects it to be pristine and close to hot off the press. He respects that. But sometimes he just can't resist turning over each section until he finds the book review. Consulting editor Ed Ackerman here at VoiceWave News sums up our guest's love for newspapers. To borrow a line from The Who, I call that a bargain. It seems like no matter how much our guest spends on his Sunday papers, it's always worth it to him.